as we reach the beginning of the end of our long, hot journey on the road to hell. In fact, Chris Rea has already stopped for petrol and a toilet break twice, so our final destination must be just around the corner. Fasten your seatbelts and reach for the Murray Mints in the glove compartment one last time as we step up a gear and race into the top 10 of the 100 greatest TV moments from hell.
We begin our top 10 with a game show that was full of baffling questions. And to think no one asked the most obvious of the lot. What was it that made us all tune in and watch?
The most unfathomable programme in the entire world, 3, 2, 1, and brilliant for that.
It's real end of the pier TV.
It was based on a European format from Spain called Uno, dos, tres, and anything from Europe for television is rubbish. Great game shows have great catchphrases. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. I was watching The Incredible Hulk the other day and he came on and went...
These awful kind of, here's my sexy secretaries.
Right now I meet my gorgeous secretaries. Here they are, the gentle sex.
There's these girls and they're kind of posed with notepads and glasses, Oh, yeah, because glasses make you look intelligent, don't they?
I want you to give me the letters of the alphabet backwards, starting, of course, with Z. All right? Letters of the alphabet backwards, starting from Z. I will give you one for £1. Z.
Z.
X. What was most unfathomable was the questions.
What's going to be the clue?
No, it's the hat. The hat. And the rhyme is, jacket and you won't get clobbered. This could be for collection. It's appropriate for spring, but do you need protection?
The people who cracked the Enigma code, I think, would have a terrible time trying to work out a 3, 2, 1 question.
Johnny Logan has just brought you in the frilly parasol and said, you'll think the rhyme may not be fair. With a minimum of thought. Carry on the way it started, the booby won't get caught.
My first is in dustbin, but never in lid. My second's in saucepan, you won't find me in kid. Look out the alley, look up the valley. What am I, Ted? Do not dally. What the fuck is that ever going to mean to anybody?
You'll think the rhyme may not be fair. Well, perhaps this is a house in Mayfair. But no, even 3, 2, 1 couldn't afford one of those. With a minimum of thought. So if you think more than a minimum, the rhyme will be fair.
What?
And so may be the prize. Carry on the way it started, the booby won't get caught.
What?
That's another hint that this isn't the booby prize. What about the frilly parasol in a song? There was something else with frills upon it, the Easter bonnet, Mayfair.
What? What?
Minimum, carry on started with CAR, it's the mini Mayfair you've rejected.
You sat at home going, no! Do you understand the question, Ted? Jesus!
Let's go and meet this little character, shall we? Come on, Paulie.
This show went on Saturday night, and you'd be sitting there, no dough to go out, you'd be sitting on the other side, some rubbish costume drama with the BBC, snooker on BBC 2. Oh no, it's 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Good night, everybody. Bye.
At number 9, we try to get into the heads of the producers who replace the actors playing some of our favourite soap characters and hope we won't notice the difference. Well, the other characters don't seem to.
It's gonna have to be a different man.
There's a pernicious disease in soapland, which is head replacement syndrome, often accompanied by complete memory loss of all your friends and family.
I can see a little girl.
Gail Platt's one of the worst offenders. What sort of mother doesn't notice that her children have been changed mysteriously in the night by aliens? Sarah Lou was changed because Tina O'Brien was brought in to do the teenage pregnancy storyline.
No, she isn't. I want to give her this back.
And Adam Rickett was brought in, and not only did his head change, he had an entirely different body.
It's a good choice,
So he went upstairs, a young adolescent boy, and came back down a sex god.
Oh, you've filled out, you have.
Well, some things never change.
In Emmerdale, Sarah Sugden changed her head. Alison Spiro was brought in and their hairstyle was marginally better. But I don't think Jack noticed because he wasn't the original Jack anyway. Young Ben Freeman was brought in as a sexier version of Scott Windsor to replace Toby Cockrell. And Toby didn't take it too well because a couple of weeks after he was axed, I saw him at the Royal Shakespeare Company production of Julius Caesar, and he was Mrs. Caesar in a frock.
Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
girls really streets ahead of the boys in terms of education? And if so, did anyone tell the underperforming undergraduates who made this infamous appearance on University Challenge?
Hi, I'm Rachel Coleman. I'm from Christian Mulford in Wiltshire, and I'm reading Natural Sciences. Newhall isn't that well known a college, or it wasn't then. And I thought, oh, if we go on University Challenge, we'll raise the profile. You know, maybe we'll win a few games and people will have heard of us.
Hello, I'm Rosie Shaw from Shrewsbury and I'm reading philosophy.
There was also the feeling of wanting to get on TV.
Hi, I'm Abby Bradley and I'm from Esher and I'm reading chemical engineering.
I was feeling very excited and a bit nervous, I suppose, as well.
Hi, I'm Sarah Davis. I live in Oxford and I'm reading experimental psychology.
But there was a good atmosphere behind and you watched other people. And in fact, the team that was filmed before us did, well, what was supposed to be really badly, and they got about 95 points. And Jeremy Paxman actually laid into them. So we were thinking, oh my God, we can definitely do better than that.
Best of luck to both teams. Fingers on the buzzers. Here's your first starter for 10.
Suddenly we were doing this for real. It wasn't the warm-up anymore. The TV cameras were rolling, and potentially there were a lot of people watching.
Nottingham Golding.
Pekingese. Pekingese is right. The Sunday Mail and...
Nottingham Golding.
Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is right.
Nottingham Quinn.
Stroboscope. Stroboscope is right. Here's a starter question. Maybe you'll get getting this one, Newhall. Goodness had nothing to do with it. Published in 19...
Newhall Coleman.
I knew it when I hit the button, and suddenly there's this red light pointing at me, and I just... So I forgot.
Oh, bad luck. You lose 5. Enforcement officer.
Nottingham Golding.
PC. PC is right.
Nottingham Chowler.
Melanin.
Melanins is right. 3 nights.
Newhall Davies.
Benny Goodman.
No, I'm afraid you lose 5.
We must have looked aghast every time we got an answer wrong. And I know I got picked up quite a lot afterwards for being seen to be swearing underneath my breath when we got answers wrong.
I'm afraid you lose 5 points. It looks bad, Newhall, but we're not even halfway yet.
They actually stopped taking points off us when we were on -15. That was when I thought, it really can't get any better, can it?
I decided before we started filming that even if I didn't know the answer to something, if the entire question had been read out and the other team hadn't answered, it was worth pressing the buzzer and making a completely wild guess.
Which large bird has species called saddle-billed, marabou, adjutant and white, the last of which tends in Europe to nest on rooftops?
Newhall Shaw.
Heaven.
Nope.
I remember getting quite upset when Rosie next to me just kept buzzing.
Describes...
Newhall Shaw.
Napkin.
No, you lose 5 points.
And kept buzzing.
Newhall Shaw.
Mars.
No.
And kept buzzing.
Newhall Shaw.
Ben Jonson.
No.
So I remember sort of sitting back in my chair and going, right, that's it. Lost it now.
I want to be as kind to you as I possibly can, Newhall, but it's a terrible score. In fact, I think it's the worst score since University Challenge came back. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is.
I've never watched it. I've never been able to sit down and put myself through that torture again.
You really don't expect that to happen. You don't expect to sink like that.
To fail so hugely was just even more hilarious than failing by a margin. And everyone in the country is going to see it. Bye.
When Channel 5 wanted to make a game show on a naturist theme, they needed the help of a former children's presenter who had humour, enthusiasm and balls. And boy, did we see them. After the furore that followed, Keith Chegwin doesn't want to give us all another look. So sadly, he's missing from this little item.
It was just very humiliating, I think, the whole thing, and embarrassing and base and sordid and fantastic.
The programme was to show that you could have as much fun without your clothes on as with your clothes on.
The cross between the Krypton Factor and Crystal Maze.
There were moments when I sort of put my head in my hands and thought, oh no, you know, what have we done?
It was supposed to be in celebration of World Naturist Day, and therefore it was going to be filmed and made in the best possible taste.
For safety reasons, we had to wear protective gear, but we still had quite a lot of freedom with not having the clothing on.
Cindy, you've got to help, that's it. As the show progressed, you could tell that the cameramen were no longer excited or freaked out by the genitals on display, until one of the contestants had to climb up a particularly high box and you threatened to get a really quite interior view of them. And then the cameras would go, oh, Jesus.
Now this is tough, this needs a bit of teamwork, yes! Well done, I know you've got to be fast, but concentrate.
Those kind of shows, you've only ever seen them in the UK on programmes like Eurotrash and programmes where they're saying, look at those foreigners, they're mad, they've got no shame. And then suddenly, it's in England as well.
And off she goes round the course. We've had 2 very quick rounds so far.
Hopefully these programmes were there to show that you don't have to have hang-ups about your own body.
Can she do better? Well, she certainly shifted. Look at this! Oh! Tiptoe in the light, fantastic!
I think ultimately what really captured the public imagination was the fact that here you had this former children's presenter who was presenting a show without any clothes on, you know, and good for him. I mean, he really entered into the spirit of it. There was nothing that justified the onslaught that followed. Nothing in the content of The Naked Jungle that could just possibly justify the level of their attack.
The only shame is it didn't go to series, really, because not many people saw it and then everybody talked about it. And if it came back as a series, it would presumably get enormous ratings. Yeah.
It's not the kind of thing which you could turn into a series, nor particularly, I suspect, would we want to turn it into a series. It was just a novelty, a bit of fun.
For some, TV can go just too close to the knuckle on occasions, and that's when all hell breaks loose, as Julian Clary found out after a few choice words at a comedy awards ceremony which went out before the watershed.
I think it shows that there was 2 very separate groups in Britain today. There's sort of the Middle England group, you know, to whom words like bloody are still offensive, and there's a whole other group that grew up, you know, with Monty Python and the Young Ones and alternative comedy and all the stuff that sort of came after that, who just don't find that stuff shocking at all.
Hello, Julian. Good to see you. How's it hanging?
Oh, very well, thank you. Very nice of you to recreate hamster teeth for me here.
I remember watching Julian Clary at the Comedy Awards and just thinking, well, this man has got to go. There's no way this behaviour can be accepted.
As a matter of fact, I've just been fisting Norman Lamont.
It proved to me that this guy is not a mainstream entertainer and should never be considered as a mainstream entertainer. And yet he seems to have been forgiven very, very easily for it.
Let me ask you, Julian.
Talk about the red fox.
Next day, all this coverage in the papers about filthy Julian Clary and how dare he insult Norman Lamont, and I thought, good grief. Is it still that offensive to say something like that, in the spirit of, you know, the way it was obviously done as a joke?
So how did you jump to the front of the queue, then?
Just clawed my way through.
Yeah. Are we still on?
I'll never forget the Bee Gees on Clive Anderson. He had introduced them with the most gushing, laudatory praise, a band bigger and better than the Beatles in his estimation, so on and so forth. And he was being playful with them, and typically Clive Anderson-ish. He made some slightly schoolboyish pun about one of their early names, Le Tossers or something. You'll always be tossers to me, was his response, which I thought was kind of witty in a puerile sort of way. And it was astonishing when they walked off. But the funny thing was Barry got up first and you know, marched off, and then the other 2 brothers were left looking really sheepish, like, oh, we thought that was kind of funny, actually, and oh, we don't want to leave a TV show, but Big Brother's left, so we have to go too.
What is it about Richard Madeley that means he's played a part in so many of these TV moments from hell?
morning!
Judy Finnigan gave the fashion industry probably the biggest laugh in history. I love those moments when something, you know, happens that isn't supposed to happen.
I mean, I was at home watching that, like millions of other people, and at first I thought that that was part of her outfit, and I thought, whoa, Judy's game, you know.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
The real one's here.
The real one's here. He'll take care of me afterwards. No, I'm not doing him.
I think one of the questions raised was, why was she wearing a white bra when you're wearing a black outfit? As most women know, you tend to wear black if you're wearing black underwear.
Can I... I didn't notice that. It's all gone.
I never once felt embarrassed by it at all. I just thought, there is a woman who looks fantastic. She's got great boobs. I think she's got a cracking figure. She's 52 years old. If I can look like Judy Finnigan at 52, I will be made up to high heaven. Sorry about that.
No, one last thing. If you vote for us next year, she'll show you both of them. Thank you.
It has to be the most toe-curling, cringe-making, awful, shambolic, shameful piece of television I have ever seen.
Meet and greet your hosts, Mick Fleetwood and Samantha Fox.
It was absurd right from the start, this absurd vision of Mick Fleetwood. He was about 7'6", and for old Sam Fox he was 3'2", and they come out and they look ridiculous.
She's out of control already, I can tell. I've got to control this woman, I've got to control her over here.
Oh, that's a good start, wasn't it, Mick?
As the evening progressed, all you could hear around you was the sound of jaws hitting the floor and clanging, because it was just a nightmare.
Fabulous, the legendary, the sensational, the Four Tops.
You don't like him, George.
No, I'm the one top. The Four Tops have been held up, they're putting their makeup on.
The run through was fine. It was perfect. I didn't have no worries at all. You know, no worries. It went smooth. Everything was working fine. What came up on the screen I read, and it was fine. But on the night, the auto cue wasn't working properly.
So who's it going to be, Sam?
I don't know, because I can't see.
The lady operating it was about 70 or 80 years of age, couldn't hear very well. So as I'm talking, she can't hear me talking, so therefore she's not rolling up the screen.
Wind away.
Okay.
And I'd look at Mick for some help, and he'd just look at me, and I'd look at him, and I just wanted to run off the stage.
I don't really think you can blame Sam and Mick for it so much as the producers, because it was clearly under-rehearsed.
Prompt, made it. Prompt? So you made it here, all right? Well, that's good enough. Supposed to be in a wheelchair, lads. What happened? No stick, no wheelchair? Lap it out. Well, anyhow. Do you want me to tell you who's won, then?
Yeah.
I think so.
Are you not going to have a look at the possibilities first?
Other possibilities?
Yeah.
Of course.
In all the papers, it said about the Brits being a disaster, and it said that I couldn't read the auto cue, I couldn't manage to remember what groups were coming on. Basically, lies, really. You know, I knew what was going on. And I never bothered talking about it at that time, because it would have kept it going on and on.
See you same time, same place, next year.
I think it was if it was now, I'd just get the script or something and rip it up and say, see you later. That's what I would have done, and left Mick up there on his own, if it was now.
We've had a great time, and I hope you have. See you, we love you.
The road to hell, they say, is paved with good intentions. And we've no doubt that the people behind all those clips had them somewhere along the line. But now we end our journey into the unthinkable with the clip that warranted more votes than any other. So what is the worst moment in television history? A moment that so many of you wanted to see again. I think this clip secured the title of the greatest TV moment from hell because of the sheer damn unexpectedness of it all. Sometimes when two very different worlds collide, the results can be horribly compelling. So imagine, if you can, the leader of the Staines Massive colliding head-on with the king of daytime TV. Surely there'd be no survivors.
Hello, welcome back. We're with you now live right through till 12:15, and Richard was in tears this weekend after the Sun news.
They're right that now.
No, he wasn't. He laughed his socks off after the Sun newspaper pointed out this weekend that he hasn't had a new hairstyle for the past 10 years.
We launched a campaign and we suggested maybe 4 different styles that he should adopt, one of which was Ali G, another was David Beckham. You know, we didn't think they'd go along with it.
We would like you to tell us which cut, which, you know, the Sun so carefully did for us, they put up 4 computer simulations, would suit him best.
It was astounding because they all thought, obviously, that Ali G was the way to go for Richard. We had thousands of votes, but Ali G was by far the winner. So the idea was, well, if the viewer wants that, let's give it to them.
Yes, some TV moments are just so bad they're good. And when Richard Madeley was bad, he was even better. In a parallel TV universe, this really would be the greatest TV moment of all time, as Richard ends up finding heaven in TV hell.
When you realise what's happening, you start to watch it through your fingers because you think, I think Richard Madeley's going to do an Ali G impression, and this can end in nothing but tears.
Morning then. I was here with my Judy to ask her some questions about this morning. Now, Judy, when you was presenting with Richard, what does your real husband think?
Richard, you are my real husband.
I always thought you was like pretending.
No, Ali, we really are married.
Oh, respect.
You know, we couldn't believe it because out of nowhere came this amazing accent and attitude as well with all the actions. You know, he's obviously a keen viewer of Ali.
What is it about him that you like?
Oh, he's very nice.
No, you know what I was meaning. What is it about him that you like?
Well, he's very kind and he can be extremely...
No, Judy, what is it about him, right, that, you know, makes you want the kids to go out away for a while and you go upstairs early to bed?
Oh, don't be so ridiculous. I'm not going to start stroking your ego here.
Oh, that would be wicked, though, Judy. Don't you think it would be the business to have some cooking on sometimes?
But we do. I mean, yesterday, for example, Susan Brooks was making cake in her Yorkshire kitchen.
Cake? For real?
Yeah.
I have to say, in defence of this, that the costumes is actually fantastic. The way he's learnt his lines is actually brilliant, and the attention to detail is really admirable, but you probably wouldn't want to watch it more than once.
Why does he bother with all them makeovers? Why don't you just get women who is fit to start with?
I mean, Rosemary Connelly's extremely fit, actually.
What, you was telling me you think Rosemary Connelly is fit?
Of course.
You was very frank, Judy.
I think he did really well, and as a sort of a mainstream sort of family entertainer, to go on ITV at 10 in the morning and allude to drug taking and lesbianism, I mean, good lad, you know.
Wicked!
I think it's like stirring patriotic music should start to well up behind him as he's speaking, because you think, you know, he's going to pull it off. Plucky old Richard.
Now, finally, I was noticing that there is no sign of Richard. Is it okay if I, Ali, does the show with you today?
What, looking like that? I'm afraid not.
Is it because I's black?
Oh.
Although it shouldn't work and it should be terrifying, and you can feel yourself getting slick-palmed with embarrassment on Richard's behalf in the early stages, I think he pulls it off.
And Channel 4 goes in search of the 100 greatest #1 singles. That's on Saturday at 8 o'clock. Well, next on 4, from Santana to Barry Manilow via Puff Daddy, we celebrate 25 years of Arista Records with a very special all-star concert.